TV coming to you straight off the Hip Car Chronicles live stream episode. I just want to just say Happy New Year to everyone. It's 2026 year of evaluation and growth, and it is the setup year for 2027. If you believe in numbers, what numbers connect to on a quote unquote spiritual, seven is a new beginning. Six is pretty much a number of processing or setting yourself up for your new beginning. All right, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And we're gonna talk about some sports, some relationships, some other crazy stuff that went viral. First things first, I want to give a disclaimer. When I talk about relationships, I just want to let y'all know I am not a relationship guru or any type of therapist. All I do is talk about relationships from a common sense point of view and from a experience perspective. So if you hear this, just let you know I am not no guru and I never claim to be a guru. So that's all I gotta say about that. On that disclaimer. First things first, we're gonna talk about some sports. Football. Now the playoffs is set and everybody's predicting who's gonna win the Super Bowl. And also some coaches got fired. Usually the day after the season ending game, usually it's called Black Monday, where a lot of coaches get fired. Um, the coach from the the coach from the Cardinals, which is I forgot his name. I know it's Coach Gannon, but he's Rich Gannon's son. He got fired. Pete Carroll got fired from the Raiders. John Harbaugh got fired this morning. Um, who else got fired? Matt Eberflus got fired as the DC. Um, it's some more coaches that got fired. It's just a lot. I think about 5, 6 coaches got fired. Oh yeah, the Titans coach got fired midway through the season, and and the most shocker of all the firings is the John Harbaugh that just happened maybe about 10 minutes ago. And I'm just gonna say this: the Ravens had a bad year. They didn't even make the playoffs, and I think John Harbaugh was ready to go, even though they mutually, quote unquote, mutually separated or parted ways. I think John Harbaugh now, since he is a coaching free agent, he's going to reset the coaching market. So now it's going to be a frenzy because the Titans' job is up for grabs, the Raiders' job is up for grabs. Um, it's a couple other jobs. Oh yes, Stefanski got fired. Also, glad yesterday. The Browns' job is up for grabs. I think John Harbaugh. I think what he's gonna do is he's either going if he don't take, he's not gonna take any job. He's gonna take a job with a stable organization. And I'm just gonna say this: if let's just say this, if the Steelers didn't make the playoffs, I think Mike Tomlin would have got fired. Because if you notice the importance of that Steelers Ravens game, it was pretty much of two teams trying to get to the playoff. Whoever team loses, that coach is gonna lose out on his job. And I thought if the Steelers would have lost that game, Mike Tomlin would have been out. So that's what I thought. I think Mike Tomlin would have been out, but his job was saved because of the missed field goal attempt. So now Harbaugh is out. And I'm just going to be real. John Harbaugh Oh yeah, Cliff Kingsbury got let go too, as the coordinator for the Commanders. So I think the top candidates in this coaching carousel: Stefanski, Harbaugh, Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy got, remember, he got fired last year. And now and here's the thing, I'm going to say this. The Tennessee Titans, and I know why y'all wonder why I'm bringing up Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, I think they're going to go after John Harbaugh. So now, since John Harbaugh got let go, because the number one candidate for the Titans was Kevin Stefanski. But now I think it's going to be John Harbaugh. So don't be surprised if the Tennessee Titans is going to go for John Harbaugh. And I will say this about the Titans. The problem with the Titans organization is they haven't had a competent GM within the past 4 years. Because remember when they built that team with Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, and all of them, that GM was somewhat competent, but he messed up by trading away AJ Brown, and AJ Brown came back and haunted him and got like a $120 on him in receiving yards. I think it was a $150 or something like that. But I think the Titans is going to be the team that's going to go ahead and get John Harbaugh. And it's going to be interesting this year in the NFL offseason, and a whole lot of stuff. Also, let me talk about some NBA too. The Atlanta Hawks are preparing to trade Trae Young. And here's my take on it. Trae Young and Atlanta Hawks, the relationship between those two has soured over the last couple of years. And everybody saw the handwriting on the wall that it was time for the Hawks to move on from Trae Young. Jalen Johnson, he's pretty much going to be the new franchise player. He's gonna take the reins of the star player, and you could tell. And there's been a lot of crazy stuff that's been going on for the Atlanta Hawks. Like anytime Trae Young was not playing on the floor, the Hawks will do better, stat wise. The defense will go up. They move the ball better. The ball's not being stuck in one person's hand. Everything is free flowing. And when Trae Young's on the floor, the balls get stopped because Trae Young's holding the ball. Even though Trae Young is averaging 9 assists a game, but his assist is pretty much, telling the big man cut to the basket, lob. That's it. He's not making anybody better. Because I know people are going to say, oh, Trae Young's averaging 9, 10 assists. Yeah, you can average 9, 10 assists, but are you going to make that team better? You're just averaging 9, 10 assists off of just easy stuff. I look at people like LeBron. Every team LeBron had played on, he made everybody better. He made everybody better. Sometimes it might not be scoring, it might be defensively. I give you a prime example. When the Cavs got J.R. Smith, LeBron knew that J.R. Smith can average 20 a night. But J.R. Smith had to realize the only way he can work in that system with LeBron is he committed more on defense. Score less, commit more on defense. And be a threat on the catch and shoot aspect of the game, where if you're in the corner, LeBron driving to the hole and he dishes it out to that corner, better be ready to catch it and shoot it. So J.R. Smith have gotten way better in the catch and shoot situations, where back then you could just give J.R. the ball. He's going to dribble 4 or 5 times spin the ball around, step back, and shoot a mid range, or just shoot a three from nowhere. But now, but when JR played with LeBron, he gotten better on the defensive end. He was still good on the offensive end, he got better on the defensive end. So Trey Young don't have that effect. And you don't have to be 6'8" to have that type of effect. Look at Chris Paul. Chris Paul 6'1". Every team Chris Paul went on, his leadership have elevated teams. Like, if it wasn't for Chris Paul, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander wouldn't be SGA now. Because remember, Chris Paul played a season with the Thunder, and he was the one molding and shaping Shea. And also, Shea was a rookie when he played with Chris Paul the first time around with the Clippers. So a lot of people don't understand that. So Trey Young, he's a great player, but he don't make other teammates better. Yes, he's averaging 9 assists, but he don't make other people better. And this year trade deadline, it's obvious. Trey Young's going to get traded, and it's some teams that look like they could get him. One team is the Chicago Bulls. That's one team that's emerging as one of the front runners. Another one is the Washington Wizards, and one of them, yeah, and I think I think the Brooklyn Nets or the Sacramento Kings. One of them is also a front runner. So it's about out of in the league. It's maybe about 10 teams in the league that could trade for Trey Young. Now I will say this. I think if Trey go to Chicago, it'll be the same situation. Now, if Trey Young go to Brooklyn and team up with Michael Porter Jr., that will be good. That would be a great tandem. They both could score, all of that. If Trey Young team up with what's the boy name? The little French boy in Washington. That would be good. And it's crazy. I don't even know that little French boy name. But if Trey go, so Chicago, it'll be the same thing. But I think if he go to Brooklyn, that would be a good situation. I think if he go to the Wizards, that would be a good situation. Somewhat maybe but I remember some people on the internet was talking about Trey Young should go to Sacramento. No, that would be horrible. That would be horrible. Well, let's take that back. If Trey Young go to Sacramento for Zach LaVine straight up, or Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, I think that'd be all right. That'd be decent. Or Trey Young in Sacramento would be decent. But but it's maybe about 10 teams, and I think out of the 10 teams, maybe about 3 of the teams, I think Trey Young will fit good. I think if Trey or how about this? I think Trey Young for Miles Bridges, a couple other pieces, and some draft picks. Trey Young teaming up with LaMelo Ball, that would be crazy work. That would be like Steph and Clay, but the difference is no defense, because Trey Young is 6'1", and he's not that great defensively. So you got to figure out what works for him. Now, another trade candidate in the NBA is Jonathan Kuminga. So the Warriors are still working on a solution for Jonathan Kuminga. See what team that he can go to. And I saw some stuff online that like the Warriors need to trade Jonathan Kuminga for Austin Reeves for the Lakers. So Jonathan Kuminga to the Lakers. So pretty much Kuminga and Austin Reeves straight up. I think here's the thing. Here's my take on that. I think it will be a good trade if you put Kaminga and Luka in that backcourt because Kaminga can play defense, and I think it will give more size on the Lakers front court because the front court will be Luka and Kaminga as point guards, shooting guards, LeBron as the small forward slash power forward, Rui playing the small forward, Jackson Hayes as a center. That might be decent. That might be decent. Another place I think Jonathan Kaminga can go to, uh, Sacramento. Also, Sacramento. Remember, he almost got traded to Sacramento. It was about to be a Zach LaVine for Jonathan Kaminga trade. Or I think no, it was either going to be Zach LaVine for Jonathan Kaminga or DeMar DeRozan for Jonathan Kaminga. But if that happened, so if you take Jonathan Kaminga and you trade him for DeMar DeRozan, that would be great. Another trade that might be a surprise trade. What if the Warriors get LeBron? It's possible, but it's impossible because if the Warriors thought about trading for LeBron, they would have to package Jonathan Kaminga and Draymond together with Buddy Hield for LeBron, and I think that would not make sense. The reason why, because 2-year-old LeBron is still in his prime. So remember, LeBron been in his prime for really 15 years. So the first, you know how it is, after year 5 in the NBA, that's when a player start getting to their prime. LeBron been in his prime for 15 years. He's maybe he's really at the end of his prime, where he's almost there, but LeBron still, to me, got 2 more years in the tank. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting in a trade deadline coming up in a few weeks. I can see that. I can see, but if LeBron decides to leave the Lakers, I think LeBron will ask for a buyout. I still do not think LeBron is going to retire. I still think LeBron is going to play 2 more years. LeBron retiring, I don't see it at the moment. I see him playing 2 more years because LeBron's secret goal, I keep saying, is year 25. He wants to be the first player in the NBA to play 25 years. That's the goal, year 25 for LeBron. So we're going to see. We're going to see when it comes to the situation. And also, some people even said, oh yeah, let me go back to Trae Young. Some people even said Trae Young to Phoenix. Him teaming up with Devin Booker, I think that would be a good trade. You will have to trade Dylan Brooks and a couple pieces, but I think it'll be good, but at the same time it'll be bad because Phoenix will have to gut out their roster to get Trae Young to team up with Devin Booker. But I also think the Suns need to trade Devin Booker because Devin Booker been sitting there rotting. He been to the finals once. He been to the Western Conference Finals once, and he only been to the playoffs maybe since he been with Phoenix, maybe about 3 times in his career, about 3-4 times. That's it. I think it's time for the Suns to give up Devin Booker. Suns ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. I think it's time. And I won't be surprised if Devin Booker asks for a trade. So, but even though that, I won't be surprised, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to ask for one, but I won't be surprised if he do. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting in the NBA. I know it's a lot of players I didn't mention, but that's the ones I can mention on top of my head. Also, let me go ahead and start talking about the video I saw. So I saw this video the other day, Um, it was a little kid preaching at a church, and the kid was just talking about uh, gay marriages and all of that. And here's the thing I was wondering. I was like, and I know the church folks was all excited about it, about him preaching. But here's what I'd be wondering. I don't know why churches do this. I see this a lot. Now, here's my background. Uh, I grew up mainly uh, in the church. My mom is an evangelist, and my dad was a pastor. So, so I kind of have a little bit of knowledge, and I've seen this. So the kid was talking about homosexuality. He's preaching all that, and I realized I seen this pattern. It's like every time I see kid preachers, it's kind of like kid preachers in the church are like kid actors. If you think about it in that aspect, here's why. If you ever watched a show where it had famous kid actors and they grow and then they start out being innocent and doing all the good things that make people laugh or smile and all that. And then when they really get into that world, the older they get exposed to a lot of stuff. And then life hits them. And then the stuff they morally will not do, they're gonna do it. So, and then here's what I'm saying is I was wondering why this kid is preaching about homosexuality. He's too young to learn about sex. The kid is not even 10 years old. And people just cheering the kid on. And I know people say, "Oh, he giving the word of God. He doing that." But I think that's not appropriate for a child to preach on that subject. I think if a child is gonna quote unquote give a sermon, he need to give a sermon from a kid's perspective on the kid's Bible. From the kid's Bible. But what I notice, most kids that grow up in that world in church, when they start out as young child preachers, by the time they become older, the church world has corrupted them. And then you see them doing things that's out of character. I give you a prime example. There's a preacher online that name is Brian Carn. Brian Carn been preaching since he was like 10 years old, maybe. Been all over the world. The stuff he preached about that he morally is not doing, now he's doing it since all the allegations that came out of him having threesomes with women and all the sexual allegations with the previous woman he was with. The stuff he preached he get exposed in that church world behind the scenes of what really goes on. And I'm not gonna be real. That church world is it's like, even though when you go to those conventions and all of that, it's a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes in those church conventions. It's a lot. And a lot of times, so you'll get exposed to the wrong thing. And that's why sometimes people in the church are just as bad as people in the streets. You'll hear crazy, wild stories in these conventions, and in these black church conventions where you hear stories about preachers running trains on females, and preachers going out drinking and going to the strip club, and preachers after they get out the service, they go get some weed and smoke weed and get high. You hear some wild stuff and those type of stuff, but I ain't gonna get too deep into that. But yeah, but that little boy, I felt like that was not the appropriate message for him to preach about homosexuality. I felt like he could at least, I think his parents or the pastor he was under should have made him preach something that's kid friendly, not adult messages. Because now, that boy, now you're growing him up too fast, and he's going to get exposed to a lot of stuff he should not be exposed to as a child. But some people might disagree with me. They might, some church over religious folks, they're going to put me in somebody's hell for saying what I just said. So anyway, it is what it is. But But yeah, that's all I was want to talk about that. But all right, let me get to this relationship topic. So, so relationships. Like I said before, I am not a guru, but I'm just been looking and watching and seeing a lot of stuff. So this gender war thing that been going on for the past 4 years, it has killed the rate of marriages. Marriages, the rate of marriages have gone down by 40%. And to me, all that's contributed because of gender wars. And also some of that is contributed to people finally realizing they're not marriage material too. So I think some men are being discouraged from being married because what they see on social media. And I think some men don't want to be married because they feel like they're not fit to be a husband. Some women want to don't want to be married because they want to be more focused on their career. And some women don't want to be married because they feel like they're not fit to be a wife. And the whole gender war thing is crazy. It's crazy. Now, some of the stuff I do agree with is some of the stuff I don't. I'm not a quote unquote red pill person. I Now I do agree with some red pill stuff and some stuff I don't. I'm more in the middle. And no, I am not a simp. I'm not a simp. I don't do simpish activities. So I don't do all that. But I feel like a man should always be strong in his role and stand on 10 toes. That's what I do believe. But I don't believe in the simping activity too. But I also believe men should have a balance of how to treat a woman and all of that too at the same time. So, but the whole relationship thing, it's been crazy. And I'm just gonna talk from the men's perspective. There's been a lot of men that's going on social media realizing that they need to have their life together. They need to find themselves before they get into a relationship. And I remember I said this to several other men before. Younger guys, I always tell, like, and it's crazy, since I've been married, some guys will come to me like I'm some guru, but I'm not, ask me for advice, and I just give them basic ass advice. I tell every young guy, find yourself, get yourself together before you get into a serious relationship. And I'm just gonna say this, fellas, if you are in college and you're broke, don't focus on getting a girlfriend. Focus on getting your college degree. If you are broke and you working a full-time job, still living with your mama, don't try to focus on getting a girlfriend. Work that job. Get your money up. If you got to work two jobs to get your money up, do that. I had to do that before. I remember I had to work two jobs to get my money all the way up. Work your job. If and fellas, I'm just gonna say this: relationships cost money. This is the hardcore truth. This is the cold truth too. Relationships cost money. Do not believe the fucking lie that people say love don't cost a thing. Love do fucking cost. I'm gonna tell you why it costs. If you dealing with a female, let's be real. It costs money to put gas in your car. It costs money to buy that new outfit to go on a date with her. It costs money to buy those new shoes. It costs money to pay for that food. It costs money to pay for those movie tickets. It costs money to pay for the other activities, amenities, like going to places like Top Golf or any type of attraction places that acquires an admission fee. So love do cost. It costs money when you buy that gift for birthdays, Valentine's Day, and Christmas. Now, fellas, I'm just gonna be real. If you don't, if you're not into holidays, don't get a fucking girlfriend. Because most women are into the holidays. Like, do not like if you get you somebody that's in your lane. Fellas, stop trying to outdo your standards or no, let me say that again. Stop trying to outdo your unrealistic expectations or whatever. Like, stop trying to get the baddie. If you Like, look, most of these guys, y'all will try to chase a baddie. Stop trying to get the girl that everybody wants. Get the girl that's 10 for you. And I don't know what's wrong with y'all fellas. Y'all would get a chick that is a baddie that every dude want, that every dude is gonna damn near crash out over, and you get her. And then once you get her, she she brings a lot of toxic baggage in your life, and then now you don't want her no more, and now you wasted time and years. Oh yeah, and don't have a baby with her. If you have a baby with her, now you done just threw your life away with a toxic woman that look good. You know how many dudes I know that got baddies as a baby mama and they hate them? Like dudes be like, dang, why you hate her? She look good. There's I fucking hate her. There's a lot of dudes like that. They got baby mamas that's bad, but they hate them because the toxic baggage that chick bring. Get a chick that's for. And fella, if you broke, do some stability. You gotta have some type of money and stability. You know, it's different if you was with a girl from your childhood, from high school all the way to now. That's different. But if you broke and you living with your mama, your grandma, and your auntie, or your sister, and you in between jobs, don't get into no relationships. It's not worth it because you're gonna always have the same results where you're gonna get played. You're always gonna be the one that be dead last. I'll give you a prime example. When I was in college, I didn't have a car. Some people that know that knew me back in college, I didn't have a car. I didn't get a car until after I graduated from college. So I didn't have a car in college. So every time I was trying to get a girlfriend or something, I will always get played. And guess how I get played? I always get played by the girl. And guess what? She will always leave me for the dude who had a car, who have some cars. So, and I was wondering like why I keep always end up talking, why I end up trying to talk to these chicks and then I end up with the same result that I end up losing at the end. Because number one, you don't have the necessities, the necessities that you need, like a car, an apartment, all that. And then on the other end, when I was in college, my cousin went to school with me. So my cousin on the other end, he had a car, he had an apartment, all of that. He was fucking on everything that walked through his door, and he was winning. His dating life, it was lit. But eventually, my cousin, he eventually got kicked out of school, and the rest is history. But it let me know when you don't have a car or your own crib, most females ain't gonna talk to you. And fellas, if you and I'm now here now let me clarify this. Now fellas, if it's okay to be broke in college. If you in college trying to fulfill a dream of graduating, getting a college degree, it's okay to be broke in that time. The moment you get out of college, it's time to get out of the childish college mindset and start doing grown man stuff. Like get a big boy job or get a real job and start really taking care of responsibilities. Some, there's some men that's still living like a college student and they've been out of college for almost 10 years. So I haven't been to a college in 15 years. I graduated 15 years ago from school. So I, I got out of the kiddie college mindset maybe a year, 2 years after I graduated from college and start doing the big boy stuff, getting a job and all of that. But yeah, fellas, if you're broke, please do not get into no relationship. If you're in college and all of that, don't get into a relationship. Focus on your books. I tell my little nephew was 21. He wanted a girlfriend so bad, and I told him, please do not get a girlfriend. Just focus on your books. Focus on all of that. The girls will come later. Because I tell men that all the time. And look, and I'm glad he took my advice because now he's going to graduate with honors. So, and I'm glad because he took that advice. And also with females, and I like on the other end, females don't have to worry a lot of times because I know females that's in that age of their young age of 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. A lot of them the playing field is always gonna be crazy for them. So you know, and here's the crazy thing: in today's world, women are progressing faster than men, and it's not, and the reason why, because I think men are being too content on not being successful. And I'm gonna be real. I've been in my profession for years, for maybe 15 years now, and I've noticed this: there's more men that are content just being broke than women. I've met more women that's getting to the bag, and men, we need to be more motivated like that. We need to get to that. Now let me take that back. Let me say this. Let me clarify this. There's some men that are getting to the bag. There are some men that's really getting to the bag, that's really bossing up. But in today's world, it's more men being too content. They rather work their little job at GameStop and say, "Oh, I'm just cool with that." No, if you're like, no, don't do that. I have a friend right now. He has a college degree and all of that, and I know college degree don't hold the same weight like it used to 20 years ago. But he was, he asked me how did I get into the field I'm in, but he had the same degree I did. I told him I started learning to acquire skill sets. So this same friend, he asked me to teach him some of the skill sets I learned. So I started teaching him. Guess what? He didn't want to do it. He did all that big boy talk, and then when I started trying to teach him, he didn't want to do it. And then what's so crazy? I set him up to get interviewed by a lady I know that was an HR lady. He didn't get the job because he said the wrong thing. So that lets me know you can't always teach everybody. You could and plus now he's working at a factory. He's content on what he's doing now. He's content. He don't want to do nothing else. He just want to work at the factory. But will complain about him doing 12 hours of backbreaking labor. Where me, I'm sitting at a desk, not even breaking a sweat half of the time. So that lets you know some people are too content and they don't want to reach success. And it's kind of crazy out here. It's more like in today's world, like I said, it's more women getting to the bag, and men, we have to be a little more motivated. We do. We have to be more motivated. And I'm gonna just talk to the men because I know everybody beating up on the women, but I always say this: it start with us first. The reason why we got these baddies running around saying they want a provider because these trick ass niggas that be in these streets be tricking off. They fucking it up for everybody. That's the reason why some of the women don't want to be held accountable because we allowed that. It's a lot of shit we allowed that that make some of the newer modern women act the way they act now because it's our fault. So, and I'm gonna say that it's our fault. I know some men might say I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but they can kiss my ass. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah. So, but we gotta do better. Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. That was my live stream episode, my podcast, Car Chronicles. It's your boy Mitch TV, and I'm out.